Professor Carey. This is my first attempt at a podcast for this class, and we are going to be discussing the state of social media in the year 2022, I guess late 2021.
Yay.
I'm here with
Like,
my three friends. You can introduce yourselves in whatever order you want. I don't,
His only three friends, mind you.
I'm big stupid moron. Hi.
I'm Cable. Don't laugh at my name.
I can't think of anything funny to say for my name.
Just call yourself
He's
yourself.
Connor.
Okay, I'm Connor. Yeah.
okay. And I'm Ty, if you don't remember me yet. And we are going to be discussing four social media applications today.
Let's go.
Discord, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, because I believe this is the ones that we are all familiar with.
Yeah.
And I'll just be giving us some simple trivia and our thoughts on each one.
Okay.
Did we good?
Yep.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So first one is Discord. It was originally meant for gamers when it first came about. And
It's-
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, at this point, it's still meant for gamers. I think they're trying to like have a larger outreach, but like, besides like NFT holders, like gamers use Discord.
No. There's a lot of Discord never really
I
lost.
think it's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
They still advertise it for gamers, you know.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's mostly for gamers and furries, primarily.
I think
yeah.
the furries that use this app are gamers, though. They're like gamer furries.
Yeah.
I don't know how animals can play
Probably.
games, but here we are.
Discord never really lost any
True.
of that. It's not like it went through like a giant overhaul in terms of what it was.
No.
because of that. But it went from being just primarily advertised to gamers to being more casual. And I guess
Yeah.
gamers are still kind of a casual market nowadays since video games are so mainstream. But
True.
it went to different fields like music and education, and like a bunch of other entertainment mediums too.
Fandom
Sure.
love the site.
That a lot of people can like really get together on. So video games weren't just isolating people who weren't, gamers.
No, yeah. I got you.
I think something that stuck out to me was just how user friendly it was the first time I tried it. Because when I first started using Skype, when me and Michael were playing a lot of early Source games like Sven,
Mhm.
it was not good. It would crash a lot.
Dude, yeah.
A lot of my friends that I also played with had a lot of problems with it too. Having to set up a room every time we wanted to play instead of
Yeah.
just having
Yeah, Skype days, dude. Skype days were the struggle times.
instead of
Like
actually.
before Discord, us gamers, we had a.
That I wouldn't know. I always just played.
It was
I
it was
never played
always
PC games back then. Well, I played
it was
PC
it was
games.
always either
but-
Skype or if you were like a true like degenerate, TeamSpeak.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And TeamSpeak was pretty much just for esports teams. That's it.
Yeah, and yeah, esports teams, and then just like absolute. Can I say virgins? Is that something I can say?
Yeah, that's fine.
Absolute virgins like me.
Like all of us.
I have to clear.
You gotta clear up the fact that we're
What
none of
about
us.
single
yeah,
girls
yeah,
know
yeah.
that?
yeah. None of us.
we get
None of us have.
none of us. We get zero play.
We get no place.
Don't let the hot single girls know that.
Yeah, I think.
By the way, I enjoy long walks on the beaches.
Evan, you can't physically have a long walk on the beach.
Can't
He's right.
shut up.
Beaches aren't scooter excessive. Like, accessible.
But yeah,
You guys are trying to love out here.
I think one of the most surprising things to me was how user friendly it was. Everything about
Oh,
Discord
yeah.
is very easy to do. A lot of this, it supports a lot of video players like Twitter and YouTube, and just individual media files that aren't those things too. And it's like you can connect a lot of your other social media sites through Discord to your profile, like Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, whatever it may be, which is also
Yeah, I
very
think-
nice.
I think Discord saw the problem that PC gamers had at the time of just not having something that was easy and accessible to do voice chat with, and they were like, okay, let's provide something to fix that, and they did it when nobody else was gonna do it, and made it super user friendly, and because of that, it soared. I mean, Discord's decently mainstream now. I mean, shoot, they got Danny DeVito in their last commercial. Like they're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did not see the.
Though commercials are kind of a dead form of advertisement, don't you think?
Not really.
Not really.
Commercials on cable TV are a dead form of marketing because those are more like the only people who watch just cable TV is like boomers right now.
And most of them are
And-
reruns.
Exactly. And
Not
but
true. I watch
yeah,
cable TV every time there's a new SpongeBob
well, that's
episode.
because you can't afford to pay for Disney Plus.
That is
Yeah,
not
I can.
SpongeBob is not on Disney Plus.
SpongeBob isn't on Disney Plus.
No, I know it's on Paramount Plus, but what degenerate wants to buy that?
Good point.
There's more to
But,
that.
but with Paramount Plus, you could watch the new iCarly reboot.
Shut up. No, but yeah. What was I saying? Crap, I lost my spot.
Advertising.
Yes, advertising. Thank you. No, but like I think ads are a super mainstream thing right now. Like especially like I think they're formatted different. I think, but the like the most like common ones you see like are advertisements on YouTube and like
I
sponsored posts Instagram.
I think it's to an overwhelming degree though
can't
because when you see advertisements on stuff like on TV, you know there's like a set few that you're gonna see before you can get back to your show. Whereas
Yeah.
with YouTube, they could give you
Yeah.
like fucking 5 in a row before you could watch
Oh, yeah.
your 10-minute video.
Yeah.
Just let me watch my video, please. But anyways,
Me watching 2 minutes of skippable ads to watch a 30-second CPR tutorial to save my dying dad.
too much control over how many ads people can put in their stuff, and it bothers me.
And people, they started doing these like targeted ad things and sending those out, but
Yeah.
I'm not getting any targeted ads. All my ads are dumb stuff that I don't
So
care
am
about.
I, dude. I mean, I'm getting actually tons of targeted ads. Like, there was this one time, dude. Like, the creepiest thing happened. Like, I think was talking to my mom about something. I was like, hey. She's like, what do you want for dinner? I'm like, oh, maybe some pizza, right? Open my phone. Next ad is an ad for Chuck E. Cheese, and that stupid rat
Oh,
saying it in a big old like, I
Oh.
kid you not, in a big bubble, literally verbatim. Did somebody say pizza? Question mark. And I threw my phone. I was like, nah, we're done.
I'm opening up Twitter right now and I'm looking at the first ad I see. MailChimp, automate your marketing with customer journey builders so you can focus on growing your business. I don't have a business and I don't plan on making a business anytime soon. So thank you, Twitter. I don't care.
okay.
You should make a scooter business.
Well, back to Discord. Do you, Evan? Do you or Connor have anything to mention on it?
I mean,
I think,
talking
yeah, I
about-
agree that it's user friendly. I like it. It was one of the first things I ever got, first social media platforms I've ever used, so I'm used to it, I guess. Wasn't for Discord, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you guys.
True.
well, yeah, like you know, I'd say you know,
Kick him.
Podcast.
Okay. We
Well,
have a. This is so disorganized. Let me get him back in here. Let me get him back in here.
Why didn't we just make a chat?
Discord has a problem with
I thought y'all
you
were
know,
the thing.
We are. We are.
you know.
Dang.
We are doing the thing. We just started, so it's fine.
Okay.
Oh, we have a secret fifth guest. Michael.
Okay, I know we were
I
talking about
just
ads earlier. So speaking of ads,
Fuck ads, dude. Oh my goodness, ads are trash.
Hold on.
this podcast.
It's family friendly.
Can we just?
No, I was gonna say it's sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, but you know that works too.
You know, I'm just gonna keep the audio file. I'm not actually editing this, right?
So think about this. So if we're talking about ads, right?
Michael,
the
hold on.
way...
Hold on.
What?
We were actually talking about Discord.
Oh shit. Never mind.
No, yeah, I just wanted to go on and spiel.
It
about
was
Raid
just,
Shadow Legends,
it was just a
sorry.
one-off joke. So basically, Michael, we were talking about how Discord has basically revolutionized voice chat rooms because you remember how you and me used to use Skype before Discord was a thing?
God, Skype
was
was
terrible.
terrible. God, man. I even tried to use TeamSpeak, dude. That shit was awful, man.
Oh, we were talking about TeamSpeak earlier, bro.
Dude, TeamSpeak was like the most confusing thing I've ever used.
How
Easily.
how would you say Discord has helped with that?
Discord it's simplified everything.
Do you think it's been? I think for another thing that I want to talk about. Hold on, Tyshaun. Another thing that I want to talk about is the inclusion of like a lot of community. It's been able to bring together a lot of communities. As I'm looking at my sidebar here, there's like so many different choices that you could look for. You can make your own if you wanted to, and making your own server is pretty easy as well. But and I'm starting. Like
That's what.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
what. That's what Discord did that Skype couldn't. Skype couldn't bring together groups like that, like Discord has.
Yeah.
There's a difference. That's the only difference I see between Discord and Skype is that Discord was able to like monopolize like a group chat, like voice call, group voice calls, and group like parties and.
Specifically for
Yeah.
PC.
Yeah, like it's
Skype would
specifically for
never-
PC.
Skype would never ever be able to bring together a group of stupid losers who watch
You know-
way
you
too
know-
much anime.
You know what I find actually really interesting? The fact that like Skype already had like this whole system for voice calls like all set up and everything, and like when the pandemic hit, they did not like you would expect them to like capitalize and everybody would start using Skype. No, they did nothing about it. They didn't capitalize on it or anything, and companies like Zoom just completely overtook them.
Well, yeah, because
Eh.
Skype doesn't care anymore.
Fair enough.
At
But
least from
I-
what I think.
No, yeah, but like when you have a 10-year head start like that, and you're like you don't have to do much to like create something like super easy, like so something like Zoom on your platform, and you just don't, like that's just mind-boggling to me.
Well-
But that's a whole tangent.
Well, that's a thing where like Skype technically has everything that Zoom has. They just don't
It's
tell
just
anybody
really-
about it. It's
They don't tell anybody at it, and it's really hard to
worse.
use.
Yeah, it's really hard to use. It's terrible. I'm not saying it's on par with Zoom, but it's freaking like awful UI. It's awful connections.
Very dated.
Yeah, it's just so imagine like Windows 7 like working just the same as Windows 10, but Windows 7 is just dated.
Okay, Windows. Don't sleep on Windows 7.
I'm not saying I'm sleeping on Windows
like
7. Windows
Windows
7 was nice. I loved Windows 7. I had that on my dad's old laptop. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm saying Windows 10 it has more capabilities, but if Windows 7 had all those capabilities, nobody would know because nobody's talking about it.
True.
They're not going, "Hey, yo, Windows 7 is exactly like this." They wouldn't do that because they want you to get the new of the new. Skype is over here. Aren't they owned by somebody? Who are they owned by?
Microsoft, I think.
Is it Microsoft? Yeah, because
Yeah, that's Microsoft.
I bet you Microsoft doesn't care about Skype anymore. Nobody uses it.
Yeah. Same way how like Amazon doesn't really care too much about Twitch.
I remember.
Yeah, like
Go ahead.
it's well, I mean, Twitch is different. Twitch is being used. What I'm saying is like there's a point where you have to give up on something mainly because it's not being used and it's outdated. It just happens. You
Okay.
can't keep something going forever. It's gonna die out.
You can't keep
Happened
up with
with
the competition. as well.
happened with like MySpace, like that. Like it just
Facebook
died
took
out.
them over, and then nobody cared about MySpace anymore. It's still
I
up.
gotta-
People
I-
can
I-
still use it.
Oh yeah, I gotta say, I'm actually like, I mean, not like surprised because of like how bad they're doing, because they're doing really well. But I'm surprised essentially how well Facebook is still doing, even with all these new social media platforms. Like they're keeping up.
I think it's because of the hyper casual market that can't really get adjusted to the new social medias. I mean,
don't
I
even
know.
think it's that.
I know.
I
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's just the fact that they're constantly like, number one, they're constantly like innovating and like improving things. Like for example, like Facebook Marketplace like completely changed the game and kept a lot of people on Facebook and brought a lot of new people to Facebook. But I also think Facebook has I think they've branched out so that they're touching every demographic in some way. Because obviously Facebook is mainly used by middle-aged moms and older, right?
Yeah.
And then you have, but then you have like, but then they bought Instagram, and because they realized
Yeah.
that was where Facebook was, and that's reaching there. And then they're doing stuff with VR and the metaverse, and they're branching out.
Mhm.
They're covering all bases, and everything is owned, like it's all owned by Facebook. So I don't think Facebook is gonna die out anytime soon, especially because of that market.
All right.
Well, now it's
Well-
owned by Metaverse. It's called Metaverse now instead of Facebook, which is stupid. But we're not.
Yeah.
Gonna,
I'm not calling it that.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
but
look at that either.
the thing is, who here uses Facebook, for actual social media? I mean, we all.
No,
I mean, the only reason why
barely
we
use
stay on
Facebook.
is because of Marketplace.
I think we all used to at one point, but I don't know.
Yeah, when we were younger,
never
I
used
thought
it.
it was
I
an adult
made an
thing.
account, but I never
Kids-
posted
kids-
anything or used it or looked at it ever.
only
I made an
thing is
account
that-
just for a game.
Yeah, the only thing that like people our age use Facebook for is Marketplace and our Oculus account.
Moving on. The next app is Twitter.
Oh God.
Before I get
love Twitter.
before I get
Twitter
started,
is a cesspool of
Twitter moment.
idiots.
yes, it was founded by Jack.
mean you don't agree with me?
It was founded by Jack Dorsey, and he actually stepped down last year. which was kind of interesting for me because I guess he thought that he didn't really need to be there anymore. And as researching it, it was initially meant to just be a small chat room service like, I don't know, MySpace or Facebook. I thought that's what Twitter was at first, just Facebook 2 or Facebook 1.5, as I consider it, because in some ways it's a lot more advanced. In some ways it's just pretty much dumbed down to a degree that didn't need to be there. I think the character limit thing is kind of dumb, but I guess you have twit longers.
Oh yeah, very dumb.
You have character longers. Oh look, they added more characters, but you have twit longers to get like entire essays out if you really wanted to do that. And as of right now, it has more than 2 billion active users daily. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's still a casual portion of the internet, but it's not as casual as something like Facebook is, because of how lesser known and how more recent it came out.
Yeah.
I feel like it is pretty casual, though. I consider it to be.
I still think it's casual.
Maybe even a little bit more casual than Facebook, because Facebook.
Facebook feels more business. Twitter feels more like a social media
Twitter
site.
feels more like just like personal. Like, here's something I was thinking about earlier. Here's something funny I thought. At least that's what I use it for. I use it for like posting art that I make and posting funny things that I think about. Like,
I'm not
I don't know,
extremely
like,
active
hey
on
Microsoft.
Twitter.
No, I'm not gonna say that.
Go ahead, Caleb.
No, I'm not extremely active on Twitter. I actually have maybe like tweeted like maybe 2 things. But
Yeah.
from what I've seen, based off of things I've seen from like content creators and just like looking at the site, it seems to be a place where influencers have drama and people state their controversial political opinions and either get backed up and defended vigorously or canceled to the point of like getting doxxed and like getting death threats.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that bother me about Twitter is cancel culture and how heavily gaslit, I guess it is, by drama. It's pretty much just the birth ground of
cancel
drama.
culture isn't just a primarily Twitter thing. It's on every platform. It's not just Twitter.
Oh, of course.
Dude, I have to like. There's something I have a huge issue with cancel culture, and this is just an example of just like kind of like how stupid it was. It is. So a couple months ago, right? I mean, I think you guys are all aware of the game series Five Nights at Freddy's. But like the creator, right, was just he's chilling, making it, doing his own. I'm not even talking about the games. I'm literally not.
No, Evan left.
I know. Get back in here. Get back in here, lizard.
His internet fully, got.
Evan, I'm not even talking about the games. I'm like just talking about like cancel culture. Okay, so basically, right. Some information was kind of dug up about the game's creator, Scott Cawthon, who and like some information came about him that at some point in time, like a while ago, like 10 years ago, something like that, he had donated to some Republican organizations, because he was more of a conservative person, right? And so his fan base found this out and proceeded to send him death threats, got him like canceled. They like sent death threats to like his like family, like his kids and like his wife, and like doxed him, like leaked his address and everything, and literally forced him into retirement. And like, it's like such a toxic thing that like people on the internet just like, if they disagree with something you did, they can endanger your life and the lives of your family.
Yeah, and I'm not
that's messed up, dude.
Yeah, I'm not a Republican.
That's one.
It wouldn't bother me if somebody I liked donated to a Republican thing. Like I don't care.
Yeah, at that point, it's not even about like the politics or like the political view. It's the fact that people got like people are so like desensitized to like the impact that they can have on a human being by doing stuff like that, and they just think, oh, like let's like ruin this guy's life, and it's just so casual, like, and that's just so bizarre to me, and I hate it.
Because you can pretty much do almost anything on social media without, repercussions.
When people tried to cancel Chick-fil-A because they were Christian and donating to like
don't finish that
gay things or something, because they're Christian.
Okay. Look,
okay,
I
get it. I do a Christian company. They're gonna donate to Christian organizations.
Get it.
I didn't bring this up to bring up politics and religion. I was just bringing up an example of cancel culture. I'm not trying to get political in this podcast.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
no, but seriously, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
Michael, your thoughts on Twitter at the moment?
So I have mixed feelings on Twitter. I like Twitter because it has a bunch of things I enjoy, like funny joke, porn,
No.
funny joke again. But
Of course you were gonna say that.
Hold
Of
on,
course you
hold
were
on,
gonna
hold
say
on, hold on.
that.
I'm pretty
On
sure
the flip side,
our professor
on the
understands we
flip
have hormones,
side-
so.
on the flip side, you also have a lot of racism. You have a lot of
Mostly by you.
no, we have
Yeah.
racism. There's a there's a lot of there's a lot of cancel culture like we were just talking about. There's a lot of, let's say, I'm trying to think of some things I saw the other day. Like all over Twitter, it's like there's a whole Twitter war that I was watching like unfold on Twitter the other day. It was between Ninja and Pokimane.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
Dude,
Oh, I
Can we
saw
see
that.
this?
I heard
dude,
about that. dude.
Twitter exploded. I'm not gonna go in depth, but Twitter literally exploded into two halves. It was like cool, but like it was unneeded. It was unneeded, not useful. Those tweets are gonna sit there forever with no use.
Unless someone needs to get, like, bashed or something, but
Yes,
yeah.
I enjoy Twitter for casual use, talking about your life, telling jokes. That's the good part of Twitter. But you got the bad part of Twitter, which 92% of the users use it for.
You see, that brings
It's
up
terrible.
a good point, because one of the things that sucks about Twitter, whenever I follow, like, a lot of celebrities on different Instagram pages or Snapchat or whatever it may be, is how that often that, like, Twitter gets brought up when it comes to their past, because people said a lot of stupid shit when they were younger
Yeah.
on Twitter, and it gets brought up so often to the point where it's like, but it's not relevant anymore to this point. And that, but I guess that, like, it begs the question, like, what, when it's okay to bring this stuff up, because sometimes certain things, like, about a person just don't go away. Like Michael Jackson, for instance. I'm not gonna go into it, but Michael Jackson, Christian,
Huggermer?
who else? I guess
That
the
4chan guy.
the Activision CEO, people like them. There's a lot of they did a lot of unforgivable things.
Times change.
But for them,
Maybe maybe like 10 years ago, that was considered okay, but today now it's considered wrong.
It's considered okay.
considered
it was just
okay.
that nobody
No, I
cared.
was gonna say I don't think it was considered okay, but I just don't think.
Everybody would be okay with what
Yeah, I don't think it was
like considered the social norm.
I don't think it was considered okay. I think just a lot of people just looked over it because of, like, their status and who they were.
Yeah.
As far as that
Are we gonna have a segment about Vine?
no.
I
Do
can
you
say
want?
this real quick.
Do you want to?
No. I'm just saying. I just want to say this real quick. Like you guys were talking about like 10 years ago, something sliding that won't slide today. That's exactly what Vine did. Vine had like it was a lot of like undertoned racism that was just slid by because it was funny.
You're right.
Yep.
And then you look at it now, and it's like, holy shit! Why did we laugh at that?
Oh, I still laugh at it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
funny, but like if somebody made that now, like they would be canceled.
canceled.
We definitely. I feel like me saying this is gonna get me canceled in quotation marks, but
You can't get canceled.
we've definitely softened as a generation.
Oh,
Yes,
easily.
we have.
Definitely.
So
Easily,
easily.
yeah.
Definitely, and you're not really swaying away because Twitter bought out Vine and basically ended them. So it's
Yeah.
not too far off.
I hate that you can't even make jokes about anything anymore.
No, you can. You're just gonna get hated for it. But this
Depends on who you say it in front of.
there's a few things that I noticed. Hold on. We've been talking for a minute with Twitter, not the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I have two. There's two more still. I was gonna say a few things that I've noticed that are actually kind of cool. It was like when it first added support for things like GIFs, however you
Yeah.
say it, retweeting, spaces. I think spaces are really cool because it's.
I don't think spaces are cool. I think spaces are unnecessary and dumb. So, whatever.
I think they're cool. I mean, Discord does the same thing. No one uses it, but it's a thing that people can do apparently. It's just
Spaces. What are you talking about?
spaces is a thing that
Twitter adders, people can have like little
Evan
live
before you
stream podcasts.
okay.
Sorry with all that food in your mouth.
I'm not eating anything. What are you talking about?
You sound distant from your
I
mic.
can't hear that with all the dick in your mouth, Connor.
Spaces.
Alright, let's
I'm
move
done,
on
I'm
to
done.
Instagram. Let's move on to Instagram.
Okay, moving on. Instagram is next. I'm sure we are all very familiar with this app by now. I've
I'm partially familiar with it. I think I've used it a couple times. Yeah.
I've used it enough to understand what everything does and what Instagram is.
Yeah, it's not like we have an Instagram group chat or anything.
Yeah.
No. It's not true.
Founded by it was founded by Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger. It was meant for keeping up to date with family and friends through direct messaging, and right now it's just a sharing social media platform. It's
Gotcha.
countless additions like Reels, DMs, dark mode. I don't know why I put that. Stories, filters, advertisements, as mentioned before. Multiple the ability to have multiple accounts on one page. I'm not checking that. Supporting individual individual businesses. I think that was more recent. Like being able to actually like put your business on Instagram, which is kind of cool, and their own marketplace, like you mentioned earlier with what was it, Facebook,
Yes.
which is neat. It reportedly has 500 million users daily, and it was bought out by Facebook for $1 billion in 2012. Some things that I think when I hear Instagram is that it's very celebrity centric. Like I don't know, they're usually the first few people that I see, and for good reason, obviously, because they're celebrities. I think it's casual, but to a certain degree, it favors the more skilled with pictures versus that of like just some random grandma.
It definitely does because I have no likes on anything at all.
Some random old lady who doesn't know how to use her
No
phone for the first time
followers.
is not gonna get that many likes versus
Instagram
Kylie Jenner.
is built around hashtags. I promise you. Any post you see on Instagram, if you follow feed and it's in your explore page, it is hashtag centered. Anything that you like on Instagram, doesn't matter what it is. It could be about music, movies, gaming, comedy, anything that you do. It's gonna change what you find on your explore page. So if you like a bunch of comic strips, right? You like Evan for, let's say he does this. He starts
Yeah.
liking a bunch of Garfield comics, a bunch of Gromit comics, shit like that. His explore page is gonna be filled with a bunch of comic fucking Instagram posts. It's all about the hashtags. Hashtags build posts, hashtags build accounts, and hashtags build likes. It's
Yep.
all a business. Doesn't matter if you have a personal account, a business account, just a random ass meme account. It's all a business. You have to know how to run it to get the followers you need. That's all I gotta say about that for now. I'll let you guys go.
I will say
I
this
think
about
that's
it. Thanks. I will say this. Instagram lately has definitely become way more monetized. I mean, just look at like all these like, influencer and meme accounts. Like you see advertisements on their accounts like most of the time. I mean, you're not going to find advertisements on your friends' accounts, but like, I'd say it's a way more monetized app than a lot of other different social medias, don't you think?
Uh-huh. For sure.
Cable, would you like to bounce off that?
I was actually gonna bounce off what Michael was saying.
Sorry.
I can't remember what you said though. It was like the last thing
Hashtags?
you said, Michael.
It was
Oh.
hashtags and shit like that. It's a
and how
business.
Yeah. I think that's any form of social media at this point, though. I think
True.
I think social media or just online presence it's a lot more like a business than people think. Like for example, like Twitch streamers, right? It's all about like where you're advertised, the quality of what like if you view your content and what you like put out there as like a product and like is what I'm selling worth consuming and worth buying. And you're not people aren't buying it with money, they're buying it with their time and with their attention span. So if that content that you're putting out, you have to think to yourself, okay, would I spend my time, my attention span on this? And building online presence is just it's a combination of things, but it's just and especially on Instagram is like do I think this is worthy of consumption? How often do I put it out, and where else do I advertise it? And I think just looking at if for anybody who wants to grow on Instagram or anywhere else, if you view it kind of more as a business than as a media page, I think you're gonna go a lot farther.
I think even if you're not necessarily planning on making money, putting your page out there, it's pretty much starting like an online resume of sorts. If
Yeah.
You do it anyways, because you're letting the world see you for who you are, and obviously they're not gonna see everything because you don't take snapshots of every second of your life, but you want to show them the good parts, and some people make it jealous of that, and eventually like envy you, so they just follow you, try to figure out what you're doing right with your life,
Yep.
and eventually businesses will probably see that and think, oh, this guy's marketable because everyone wants to be like him. We'll try and capitalize off of that and see where that gets us. Instagram is probably
Again, that's why I only post my art.
I have an issue with that because Instagram is a website built for fake people.
very much so.
You could fake it till you make it, and people will think that you are the coolest dude and you are the nicest person ever, and everything like that. But you are just a piece of shit. You are poor. Like. I'm not even saying poor is a bad thing. I'm just saying like you're putting yourself out there like you have all this money and that you're so cool and you have a lot of friends. And then on the flip side, you have none of that. Sorry, I had to burp. On the flip side, you have none of that. You could be fake. You could be so fake on anything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, anything. You could be fake, and it'll work. It does. That's my issue with advertisers and what that and too, because a lot of people on Instagram put their ads up on Instagram because that's an easier place for people to see their ads. Is they're scrolling through their feed and oh look, an ad from an account I follow. That's just an easy way for their ads to get out there. But at the same time, Instagram is very very good at prioritizing those ad videos instead of the other post you want to see. They're very good at that too. It's all. Again, like I said before, it's a business. That's the way it's gonna roll.
Because on Instagram, you're not like people, whether they realize it or not. Because a lot of people don't realize it, but they're not viewing you as a person. They're viewing you as a product.
Or a number.
You know what I mean? Like subconsciously, because like the thing, especially like celebrities and whatnot. Because like you're thinking to yourself, like, wow, like this person's life is like so cool, and you're not looking at them as a human being. You're looking at their life as a product. You're not looking at how nice they are. You're not looking at like what's behind the curtain. You're looking at a highlight reel of this person's life, and because they have money and because they know how to market it, they're showing you a lot of really good things and a lot of really good quality, and people eat that up, and that's I don't know. I think it's just super easy to be fake because of that marketability. You know what I mean?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Yep.
Evan, anything?
No.
Connor?
I think I said all I needed to say.
Okay. Well, I guess with that, we'll just move into YouTube, the last one. This is one I have
Oh my God.
This is probably the one I have the most personal relationship with.
Ty, take the stage. Take the stage. Bring us out.
This is
Is this Talk with Ty?
Yes, I guess it is. This is probably the one I have the most personal relationship with because not only have I been an avid viewer of YouTube content, I've been an avid maker of YouTube content. Not these last few years, most definitely not, but I did at one point dabble in making videos and I enjoyed it. Now,
I still do.
not really.
I mean, last time you posted was like 10 months ago.
That was like a 5-second meme. It took no effort. It took no effort. But anyways,
yeah, my brain took effort from my brain, dude. I thought of it.
I found it was okay. Well, I guess into the trivia. Founded by ex-PayPal employees Joey Kareem, Chad Hurley, and Steve Chen, who actually went on to make the first YouTube video known as Me at the Zoo. It's a video sharing site. It originally was known for its slogan "Broadcast Yourself," which I really miss, man. It sucks that it's just YouTube now. It also brought about the word YouTuber, which I still don't like using. I do not like that word at all.
You're a YouTuber, man.
It's a heavy catalyst for influencer culture. I know all these have been big for influencer culture, but when I think of influencers, primarily I think of Twitch or YouTube first. A lot of partnership deals have happened on YouTube, advertisements obviously, a lot of drama, a lot of clickbait, children's videos basically being the norm for making money. Live streaming was a thing. Well, it still is, but not too many people use it in comparison to Twitch. Google acquired YouTube in 2006 for $1.65 billion. It has a much more corporate mindset because of that now, and it's not as it doesn't value the individual like it used to, and it supports videos with a quality of up to 8K HDR 60 frames per second videos. YouTube Shorts are a thing now. The most subscribed YouTube channel is T-Series with 205 million subscribers. The most viewed video on YouTube is the Baby Shark Dance by Pink Fong with 10 billion views. How does that even happen?
Gross.
The most liked
I don't know, because there's a lot of like 5-year-olds that turn it on and listen to it 10 times.
with the same account apparently. The most liked video on YouTube is Despacito with 47.8 million likes.
I'd say it's actually a pretty decent song. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude, I've actually been bumping, like, unironically, I've been bumping Despacito in the past couple of days.
We were talking about Baby
Not-
Shark.
No,
We were talking about Baby
Not the one. Oh, I thought we were talking about Despacito.
I don't
Oh.
like either of them.
I like Despacito.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Despacito.
I like Despacito.
I like Despacito.
I don't like it.
I don't like the one with Justin Bieber as much. I mainly like the one with Luis Fonsi and Daddy.
There's one with Justin Bieber.
Yeah, that's the one that got really popular.
Alright. And the most disliked video on YouTube is YouTube Rewind 2018 with 20.
Actually, that's
terrible
now.
Of course, because it's like the
And they
perfect
got rid of
like,
dislikes.
symbol for the corporatization.
Yeah, I guess there is no most disliked video anymore because dislikes are gone.
Yeah, I was just say there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Oh.
the most cringe thing that YouTube's ever done.
Yes, that's probably one of the worst things. Out of all the practices they could have done, this is probably the worst thing they could have ever done so far.
Yeah.
At this point, just take off videos and just call it something else. Call it Instagram and let it only use Reels. But anyways, anyone's
Damn.
thoughts before I go into my rant?
Thoughts with Tide? No.
Caleb.
Go ahead. We'll bounce off of you.
Okay, so go ahead.
Oh,
Caleb,
sorry, go ahead.
me and you probably have a big connection with it, but for me, I
Oh
think
yeah.
it definitely lost what made YouTube special in my opinion since from the beginning. Because YouTube originally wasn't just set on making money. Like it
Yeah.
felt like it was actually valuing the creators, like the time and effort they put in the videos. Like the slogan "Broadcast yourself" literally explains it. You're broadcasting yourself to the world. You're not
And I
marketing
think that's still
yourself. You're not marketing yourself. You're not selling yourself. You're broadcasting yourself.
I think that still applies. I think.
Acting like you're the only YouTube person
I-
here, man. I made videos too.
Have you made videos?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think YouTube. I think it really depends on what your goal is on YouTube. I think the thing broadcast. I think the slogan "broadcast yourself" still really applies. But if you're looking to be more than just like a home video creator broadcasting yourself, then you're gonna have to put in some more effort. I think the big issue with YouTube right now is just their algorithm and their monetization.
Yes.
That's the two like huge things. Because algorithm, I mean, I don't know too much about the YouTube algorithm at the current moment, but I know it's just kind of like gotten worse and worse. But what I do know about is their monetization, how like it's just gotten so bad that like content, like either like a lot of YouTubers like rely mainly on sponsorships now because all of their videos are getting demonetized. Like for example, like Jay Schlatt or like Ted Nivenson, that group, heavily
A lot of
rely
YouTubers
on
with no filter.
sponsorships.
People who actually want to speak their mind can't speak
People,
their mind.
I'm gonna say it like this: people with actual good content. Because I'm being honest, like, because censored content a lot of times is not good content.
It panders.
It's not.
It does, yeah. I think because I think there's an audience for that, but I think the majority, the biggest audience on YouTube is there for not necessarily dark stuff, but just kind of like real, like being real and being uncensored and being genuine.
Well, as
And I think that's what made a lot of YouTubers special. Like that's what made a lot of like a lot of like back in the day Minecraft YouTubers. I think that's what made a lot of them special. That like I mean like a lot of them were family friendly and like are still like getting monetized this day. But like the one like some of them like weren't like necessarily horrible, but like they were a little bit more real and a little bit more genuine. And I think that was a really special thing. And then they got demonetized and things happened and some of them quit, some of them decided to censor themselves. I go back to some of these YouTubers that I used to watch that I was like really into and like was like had a real connection with, and I'm looking at their content I'm like, dude, like what happened? But the fact of the matter is it's all because they realized that this was their main source of income, and that to keep that source of income they had to change the way that it wouldn't get monetized.
Eventually, they're all like. I remember a lot of the old accounts I used to watch when I was younger. Like back when I was younger, they used to get like maybe a few hundred K a video, like a few hundred K views a video. And
Yeah.
then now, like years later, I'm looking back at them and I look at their account and they're getting maybe a couple K.
Yeah.
Because they stopped being themselves and they started pandering and looking for, well, trying not to get
Oh, yeah.
demonetized, but who the hell's gonna want to watch their videos now? So they're not really getting money and they're gonna have to get jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't really see.
Michael, you're echoing.
It's
Oh,
not. It's not really picking it up.
You're good.
It's not. What sucks now is that a lot of people don't really come to YouTube anymore to just make videos and have fun with
Yeah.
it. And you don't really see too many people like that, and the people that do, like, I feel like they expect a lot more from it than they really should, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. I did it. I made videos for a while because I just enjoyed doing it. The only reason I stopped was because I felt burnt out and I couldn't really get any more ideas out, even though it was really easy. Come to think of it, but
I mean, your content kind of revolved around like consuming content and then reviewing it. So if you wanted more ideas, you could just consume more content.
just play games or watch more shows.
Exactly. No, but I think my experience with YouTube is, I mean, my goal whenever I make a video is, like, number one, I want to be proud of it, right? And I don't get like pride from my videos based off of how many views they get. I get it off the quality of the video. If I think the video is good, I'm gonna be proud of it. Like, for example, my Miami vlog that I did, or Miami story time, I'm
Mhm.
really proud of that video, and
Yeah.
and that not because of views, but like just because it's such a high quality video, at least for what I like am able to do at the moment. But I think, crap, I totally went on a tangent there. I can't remember what I was gonna say, but no, but
Quality
I think
control, maybe.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, quality. I think I think YouTube is. I think they're too set on making their site a family friendly place that they've kind of like lost like what
Oh
the
yeah.
core values were to begin with. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
I have a hold on before you get into it, Evan. I have a quote that I put in my essay, I guess, on YouTube that I think explains it pretty well. Hold on. Well, I guess you can explain it while I look for it. Go ahead.
Yeah. The over family. I don't know. The I don't know how to put it, but the YouTube's obsession with becoming a family platform and being family friendly and all that dumb junk is so frustrating to me.
Yeah.
Because there are creators getting completely screwed over from that. There's so many good creators out there that just they talk about non-family friendly issues, or they just happen to curse a little bit.
Yeah.
And they make very good quality videos and do really well, but not financially, but the videos themselves do really well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like lots of likes and lots of views, but YouTube doesn't support them because it's not family friendly content. And that makes me very upset because there's lots of good YouTubers out there that make really good content that
Yeah.
deserve way more than what they're getting because YouTube's pulling the strings, and YouTube just makes more money off of the family friendly content, so they don't want to they want to support that. And I think the biggest reason, this is just a idea that I have, this is not confirmed or anything, but
Uh-huh.
I think it's because people are complaining. I think it's because strict parents are complaining because they're letting their 5-year-olds just browse YouTube on their iPad instead of restricting them and being a better parent. They're just letting their 5-year-old just watch like Elsa Spider-Man videos and then complaining to YouTube when they get to the bad side of YouTube, or like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Game Grumps or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
I don't even like Game Grumps,
You
but
know
just
my
example.
Fucking
my
hate Game
Miami
Grumps.
video got
Yeah,
demonetized.
I don't hate them, but I don't like them.
All right.
Yeah.
So I found my quote. Michael, were you about to say something?
Yeah, so I was kind of gonna bounce off what Evan said. It was like there's a kid, there's a YouTube Kids, there's even
There is.
restrictions you can
There's
put on the
literally a whole
account.
app.
There's like whole different like levels of security and levels of like just safe for work. Like they could just make their kids watch specific videos that they want them to watch, and they can't access the other side of YouTube, but they don't care.
They don't.
Yeah.
It's more
It's easier.
it's more the user's fault for us having a sort of non NSFW YouTube channels anymore. It's more of the user's fault than it is
A lot of
YouTube's fault.
YouTube isn't even a lot of YouTube
Yeah.
like most of YouTube isn't even SFW. It's just like they say
Yeah.
like they
That's-
say naughty word and then that's
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Like I say NSFW, and like as in like terrible things, but I'm just saying something that's not safe for a kid to listen to, or something that other people think that kids are not safe
Mhm.
listening to.
Yeah.
Okay.
There,
It,
I
there
think
are
we-
restrictions. There are restrictions you can put in for them not to see that, but they don't
Easily.
care
Yeah.
enough.
there's literally an option where you can turn it on or off and say if you don't want it to be for kids.
Yeah,
But
that's exactly
Yeah,
what
but
it's
if you
for.
choose that option, you get less money.
of course.
And YouTube, a lot of the time, they actually switch it out when they think that
Yeah.
this would be a better
that's another
deal
thing.
for kids.
Like you were saying when you made the SpongeBob video, Ty, is that
I didn't make it for
you
kids.
you hope that it what
Go ahead. Go ahead.
that you hope that it doesn't get flagged for being family content, despite just being just because it's a cartoon, even though it's not really a meme for kids. It's just happens to have SpongeBob in it.
It's just general.
Like you can have like a meme where it's like SpongeBob says F word, and it's just a clip of SpongeBob, except he says the F word halfway through the video, and it'll get might as long as you don't put the word in the title of the video or the description or anything, it'll probably get flagged for being a kid's video just because it has SpongeBob. It's a SpongeBob clip, and it detects that.
Yeah, it's funny that you guys mentioned YouTube Kids, the app, because it reminds me of like a bunch of the other side projects that YouTube tried to be, like YouTube Red, YouTube TV, YouTube Gaming, like all that stuff that was trying
Don't
to.
sleep on YouTube Gaming. YouTube Gaming is on the come up.
I'm aware, but it's literally just their way of trying to imitate literally every other social media app when they were fine because they monopolized the video streaming platform.
Yeah.
That's cool and all, but like literally just go to normal YouTube and you can see all the gaming content that's on YouTube Gaming.
Yeah, that's
No, but like YouTube Gaming is more for live streams.
Twitch.
Okay,
I don't
but
even
also
watch
you have
streams
YouTube
on
has live
YouTube.
stream.
I mostly just watch my streams on Twitch.
Yeah.
Again,
Me
YouTube
too.
YouTube Gaming's for Twitch, YouTube TV's for Netflix or Hulu or whatever it may be. YouTube Red is literally just YouTube, but you have to pay for it. That's it.
Actually, Twitch does the same thing as YouTube, but to a slightly lesser extent. Where you if you say bad words, you have to flag your stream for mature audiences, and it does give you less money.
All right. Before I forget my point, here is what my quote says. What has been presented is a half-assed attempt at pleasing quotation marks Big Brother, who takes the form of mega corporations like Disney, Apple, or Microsoft that place their ads onto the site as if it was loose pocket change that YouTube just so happens to stumble across and mistakes as generous donations. YouTube tries to regain the trust of Big Brother by dancing for the camera and doing whatever they say as they dangle their keys in front of them like a caged monkey, or in this case, an elephant. Get it? Who is merely being used as a source of commercial placement for their new products, unaware of how much of its life will be solely dictated by the lack of freedom that it once had so long ago. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Say that, have it make more sense, please.
So,
Like just for the people at home that don't get it, because I totally get it, but just for the people that don't get it, like I think it would be nice if you were to explain it to them.
so TLDR, we talked about how YouTube has become more like child friendly in terms of what types of content is being presented to the general public. You have companies like Disney, Apple, or Microsoft who basically give them all their money for basically pushing out more of that content, whereas if individuals were to do that stuff, if they were to lean more towards their individual content creator market that may or may not have content that's made for kids, they'd probably have less of a chance to get more money from their advertisers like Disney, Apple, or Microsoft because of the fact that they do certain controversial things that may not be up to par with what Disney, Apple, or Microsoft would think is right. And because of that, they just push the envelope with kids videos or whatever's safe to get more green in their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And the elephant analogy is literally just the first video. That's it.
I grew up hearing people compare the world to 1984. And before I read 1984, I said, I'm not going to be the type of guy that just compares everything in the world to this book.
Early 1984.
Yeah, but then I actually read the book, and I looked at the world, and I'm like, this is 1984.
Yeah. I guess with that, I'll stop with my YouTube rant. If anyone else wants to go ahead, I've pretty much everything I wanted.
My thing on YouTube is like I used to I know Ty would remember the back in the day was that freshman year, sophomore year. That was YouTube days. That was when I was creating those stupid ass videos that I would put on there. That was like the worst time ever.
For what?
Just in general for me on attempting to make videos.
The Wiz YT.
I remember Brian
it's
making videos, but not you.
It was like I was making them and I was spending too much time, recording them, editing them, and then trying to put them out.
Were these the Call of Duty videos you made?
Well, that was one of them.
Okay.
But like, what I'm saying is like,
Walmart being dumb.
That's SoundCloud.
I spent a lot of time making them and recording them and shit like that for them to go up and to do nothing. But like that's not an issue with YouTube. That's more an issue with like smaller creators on YouTube. It's really hard to get up to that level, at least now, because the YouTube algorithm is very weird.
What's
like anytime I'm looking in my recommended or I'm looking in like a search bar, like anytime I search something up, I don't see a lot of smaller creators. I see a lot of big creators with all the hashtags and all the likes and all the subscribers. They're getting those top resulted videos, and it just makes me think that they're making it a little harder for smaller creators to become big.
Well, because the bigger videos are the ones that they could use for advertisements.
Yeah. It's like the algorithm and the advertisements are what pull people or what pull YouTube to, in turn advertise their videos to grow bigger. And that's the same thing. Like it's not exactly same thing with like the music on YouTube as well. You don't see a lot of smaller music videos and shit like that. It's a lot of big ones. That's just funny.
Michael, please.
That's the only issue. That's the only issue I have with YouTube. It's the smaller videos, the smaller channels don't get as much attention as they should. YouTube's about growth. It should be about growth. It should be about growth and making more money as a company instead of fucking wringing out the towel on all these different channels and videos trying to wring out the most they can.
Clickbait.
I feel like the more you have, the more money you're gonna make.
I think
they don't understand that at least.
Man, I remember a time like early YouTube when hitting 1 million subscribers was pretty much like the end all be all of being a YouTuber. And nowadays you hit 1 million, it's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's just like
it's just 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 1 million and 1 million in between 1 and 10 is like just like a small number comparative to the rest of the channels now.
1 million now versus 1 million then is pretty much like night and day.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's weird. Any more closing remarks?
I don't think that there's any way to fix YouTube at this point. It's just too far gone. I know, I'm just saying, like, if YouTube decided to, like, I don't know, they got, like, a new CEO or something, and they decide to, like, actually listen, I don't think there's any way to fix YouTube. I feel like eventually there would need to be a new, social media video site that sort of replaces YouTube eventually.
They've tried that.
It's not gonna
I know,
happen.
they've tried that 1 million times, and I think that eventually someday it will happen. It's just...
Yeah, like we said earlier with Discord, Skype was really big, died out, Discord came along.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen at some point. You just gotta wait for it to die out.
Yeah.
Which will
Exactly.
never happen. Anyways, I guess
Probably won't.
I guess with that we'll move into general questions for each thing. So I talked about this with YouTube specifically about how YouTube is trying to be the jack of all trades for us more so. How do you guys feel about all the other websites doing this as well? Like we talked about how Instagram has a marketplace, and they have live streams now too, which are pretty much just them broadcasting themselves to their screen.
Yeah.
Twitter has the spaces, Facebook has the live streams,
Yeah.
and the marketplace, and the VR, and literally a bunch of other stuff. Do you guys think that's too? Do you think that's like too much of a good thing is bad or what?
It's really bad. You got to think about it this way. You can't have one company, or we'll say this, one social media group that, controls everything, because then they could make a app and it wouldn't matter. It's like real world shit. Like, if McDonald's becomes the motherfucking king, takes everybody else out, raises their prices, makes shit food, where else are you gonna go? It can't happen that way. You can't have an app to have everything, to take out everything else for it to be a shit app. It's gonna happen like that.
We need competition.
Yeah, you need competition for any app to be good. That's why YouTube sucks, because they're the only streaming service like that you could put out videos like that. And they know that they could do whatever they want with the app without anybody leaving, because that's people's jobs. That's where people go to escape. That's just that could be somebody's whole life right there. And YouTube having a monopoly over video streaming like that, it kills them, because they have to stay there on a shitty website that doesn't work like it used to.
Yeah.
I do want to mention something, going back to the something will eventually replace YouTube. While I think it's possible, I don't think it's gonna happen. I completely doubt it, because the one big you mentioned Discord and Skype. The one biggest difference that I think makes them completely separate, and YouTube will almost certainly never be replaced, is that YouTube has billions of videos and trillions of hours of content on its website. And if you make a new thing, you're going to have to transfer a lot of those hours of content onto that new website.
Not at
And
all. I
don't
think I.
Well,
Sorry, go
see,
finish up real quick, and I'll make my rebuttal.
Especially if creators are going to join it. If you're getting a bunch of creators to say, "Hey, ditch YouTube, come to this new place," they're going to want to upload at least some of their old videos up to the new website. So there's definitely going to be like a lack of content on the website when it's starting out, and it's going to be very difficult to get people to move over.
Yeah, I think that's true, but at the same time, I think the beauty of the internet is its unpredictability and exponential growth. Like, think about it, like 20 years ago, dude, we're barely out of the dial-up internet phase.
Mm-hmm.
And fast forward, like Elon Musk is like making chips to like go in like people's brains that we're living like the quote unquote future. And I think that technology is such an exponential growth, and like the internet has such exponential growth that we have no clue. Like, I guarantee you that at some point, I think YouTube will be surpassed by some greater media sharing platform. I think it'll be a slow integration, kind of how like YouTube is slowly catching up to Twitch in terms of live streaming. They're not there yet, but they're catching up. But I think at some point somebody's gonna take advantage of YouTube's lack of listening to its community, and is gonna start doing these things that the YouTube community wants. And I think it's gonna be a slow phase out. And I think that I think that YouTube, and this is just for like wild prediction, but I think give it 10, 15 years, YouTube will be completely obsolete, and YouTube's gonna just drop it as a lost, or not YouTube, and Google's just gonna drop it as a lost project.
Well,
Dude, listen.
I disagree, but I think there's possibly a chance. But I still think YouTube's still going to be relevant.
I wanna make an analogy here. So, the way you're talking about YouTube is gonna 10, 15 years, you think is gonna be obsolete. At some point at all before it died, did we ever think Vine was gonna ever like just end?
No.
Just like that.
You're right.
Oh, exactly.
No.
Exactly. it like Caleb said, the internet is so unpredictable, and it changes in a quickness. It just in a snap, something could happen. Anything. It could be sold. It could be just completely, deleted. Anything. Well, nothing could be deleted from the internet forever, but
Archived.
it could just, no support no more. Just anything like that. And then also you've got the change between MySpace and Facebook. That was unheard of. Nobody thought that was gonna happen. MySpace was huge.
Yeah.
Who thought that MySpace was gonna die out to Facebook? Facebook was a new thing up and coming. It's just the integration. You have to give it a year or two for it to build, pick up speed. That's why I'm thinking something could end up replacing YouTube. It would just take a minute.
Yeah, I guess bouncing off of Michael, just that this is probably gonna sound redundant, but I guess to simplify this analogy even more, it's kind of like how like a lot of old people thought books and versus the internet where the internet was gonna die out, whereas books would pretty much live forever. A few years later, the internet's pretty much like the end all be all of all information, and that's it. Newspapers aren't really used anymore. Books, I mean, yes, we still have those as alternatives, but the internet is also an alternative now.
Yeah, people read books online now. I mean, who goes to a library nowadays?
And even then, yeah, the internet has alternatives that are better or worse.
Even though it hasn't died out, the internet is preferred over books. It's a preference.
Easily.
It's now preferred, as in, like, instead of going to like a book about the United States presidents and looking it up, you could just go, "A phone, what's this president?" and then it'll tell you instantly.
Yeah.
Yo, phone, hey Siri, what the f is Obama's last name?
Yeah, stuff like that. Well, Caleb, since what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna hop on like what Michael said and like everything, like how like it's just so much more convenient to use the internet to like go to a library. Like for example, if you're gonna do a project on like a school project
On
like,
social media.
yeah. So like let's say you want to do a school project and you're doing like geography and you're like want to learn about Uzbekistan, right? Literally, all I have to do is say, "Hey Google, tell me about Uzbekistan."
Right there, boom. He's got all the information he needs.
Uzbekistan is a Central Asian nation and former Soviet republic. It's known for its mosques, mausoleums, and other
Okay.
sites linked to the Silk Road.
Thank you, Caleb.
No, but like
Shut up. Nobody cares. Nobody asked except for Caleb. Caleb asked technically,
I did
but nobody else asked.
no, but like it's just just like that. I don't have to get up. I don't have to use my car. I don't have to drive anywhere. I just have to ask the internet. What's
That's
this
why
country?
math is relevant, because we literally have a supercomputer calculator in our pockets at all times.
Yes,
That's actually
perfect.
debatable.
Yeah. Well, but
I used to think
most
that,
math.
and then I worked construction for 3 years and realized that you actually use a lot of math in like blue collar jobs, and blue collar jobs are what run America. Not even gonna lie.
Okay, well, I'm not working a blue collar job, so I ain't need it, man. And I ain't
That's
I ain't need all the social studies junk, man. Like,
Apparently,
When
no
the hell
English
am I gonna-
either, but we won't
what
talk
am I
about that
to say?
one.
Didn't know last part of World War
Okay.
I don't care. I'm gonna kill Archduke Ferdinand. I'm not gonna kill Archduke Ferdinand. Shut up. Why do I need to know?
well, he's already dead, so you
There's
can't.
a lot of the time history or
Exactly. That's my point.
Were you going to if he was alive?
Yep.
That's beside the point.
Don't even worry about that, bro.
I'm pretty sure a character from Fairly Odd Parents actually killed Archduke Ferdinand.
That's really funny. I'm laughing. Okay, next question.
Okay, I was gonna ask what Kayla's point of view was on the too many good things is bad jack of all trades type of style that a lot of social medias are going for now. But I guess since we pretty much got a dissertation from him, I think it's time that someone else spoke. So
Well, I guess I'll say something.
do you think
All these social media sites, they basically just lost what made them special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, why should I go on Instagram and not the other site now? Because it has the same thing. I can talk to you guys on that other site as well. I mean, what's the point? I mean, I use all my sites for almost the same thing.
it looks better?
Yeah, it's just who has the best
Because
format.
Snapchat is cringe.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. I guess with that, we'll move on to the next general question. Like, what you guys think about the state of the social media sites that I mentioned, how do you think they're moderated? Do you think it's a good like medium? Do you think it's too much one way, too much of another? Do you think it's too free, too restrictive, or what?
I think
Well, like we
Okay,
already said earlier about
Yeah, we
Discord and Reddit,
Yeah, well,
so we don't
yeah,
have to mention those.
well, what about YouTube and Twitter? I mean, YouTube and Instagram.
So-
well, YouTube, Twitter,
so that's
Instagram.
the thing.
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram.
That's the thing, though. Like
Twitter's moderated.
every one of those sites is different because you've got YouTube, which is way too moderated, but then you have Twitter, which is like
You can say whatever you
they've
want.
got. On Twitter, you've got like a lax, but
Oh.
like you've also got it's tightened in too many in like the wrong places, but it's also laxed in the wrong places too.
Twitter's hot and cold.
Yeah, Twitter really is hot and cold. And then what was the third one? It was the Instagram. Instagram's got that good
Yeah.
medium. I think Instagram's
Yeah,
on the right.
I
track.
think
Instagram's
Instagram's good.
very
They
Twitter
have
moderation is okay. I'm
The-
fine with it.
at
But
least the
Twitter
only thing
moderation
wrong with Instagram
is
is bots.
primarily that's what I was about to say is that Twitter moderation is primarily bots. It's mostly bots, like 80 to 90% bots. I think is their moderation, and the other percent is like their help team or whatever they have.
Well, that's
uh,
what I was talking about, but it's
Yeah,
some
but like
different-
that's what I was talking earlier about with Ty before we started the podcast is that Twitter bots will detect things that are considered slurs. Technically, yes, you can say those things, but it'll be looked into by the Twitter bots and the moderation team.
all right.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
except
I
for
thought-
that part, I was saying that Instagram's only issue is bot accounts. I fucking hate that. I want them to get rid of them. That is awful. I get like 30 requests a day. It is so annoying. And that's the only thing I had an issue with. When he said bots,
Or
that's what we were
Instagram or Twitter.
on Instagram. Instagram bots are just annoying.
Michael, I know exactly why you're getting those because I got them too, and then I unfollowed those accounts and I stopped getting them. You're
What
following
account?
way too many porn accounts.
I have no response.
no comment. Next,
You
comment, next
unfollow the
question.
porn accounts, you will stop getting those bots. I guarantee.
No
No
comment. Next question.
comment.
Next question.
No comment.
Next question. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Anyone? No. Is that it? Okay. So I was gonna make another question about how they pander to businesses and corporations, but I think we pretty much got that explained with YouTube. So
Yeah.
my last thing is kind of just more like a beneficial. I want to talk about social media in a good light because for the longest time we really didn't have anything to really consider when it came to sharing our stuff. When it came to like sharing a lot of like our achievements and stuff, it was either through like talk, text, or calls, and maybe photos on our phone. But for the most part, we didn't really have any of that stuff until these came about. And I think it's pretty much surmising what I want to say is that social media is like an intellectual property time capsule of sorts. If
Yeah.
like I know what we were talking about earlier, how if you, with Evan at least, he was talking about how if we were to get like a competitor to YouTube, a bunch of that content that has been like pretty much cultivated over the past decade would have to be moved over. And it's stuff
Oh,
that
yeah.
wouldn't necessarily slide. It's a lot of that stuff probably wouldn't necessarily slide if we were to do that nowadays, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again with Vine, that's
People are uploading all those old videos and people are watching them and going like, "You can't say that anymore. This is 2030. You can't say balls.
you can't
You
do
can't say
this.
cock. You have to say
Penis.
Oh no, you can't. I was gonna say male genitalia, but then I realized that not all men have. That not everybody has a penis as a man.
You can't do this
Some men
to
have
me.
penises, so.
Pat,
Um,
I have a question
started
for
this
you,
company.
actually.
Who?
I have a question for
You have
you.
to say gender
Me?
neutral genitalia.
Me?
Okay, so
There,
yeah.
yeah, I made the funny.
What's
okay, you
well,
can go.
let Connor
Anyways,
ask first.
okay, so with all these, good things you would say about social media, is it worth it? I
What-
mean,
No.
Worth
I
what?
mean, are all the good side effects of social media worth it? Considering kids aren't going outside anymore. Kids are,
Well, not
I mean,
Yes.
not
it's
necessarily.
basically like a Black Mirror episode nowadays.
It's not
You
necessarily.
know, people are sort of like judged on how many followers they have.
Well, I mean, think about it. With all the like the negatives that we have, social media has allowed us to like the spread of information is faster than ever because of that, and for that reason, we're much more aware of like tragedies or events that are occurring around the world. If we wanted to like make GoFundMe pages or fundraisers for certain events, we could do that now because of how fast information gets to us. If there was a disease that we had to watch out for, COVID, we could be aware of it and act on it much quicker than we would have if we were to see it if we were to see it on like newspaper.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
If we were to see that,
That's what I like. That's what I like about social media. Social media is bad because there's a lot of things that you could be affected. You could be like twisted the wrong way, this and that. People use social media for different wrong ways, but at the same time, social media has it's basically become a culture. Having social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, all this different stuff, it's a whole different culture that people have built themselves upon.
Yeah.
You can't just like there are people who like live on Instagram. That's how they make their money. That's where that's where they meet their friends. That's how
Yeah.
they communicate. And like Connor said, Connor was like nobody likes to go outside. I mean, that's a downside, but at the same time,
It's
at
a
the
big
t-
downside. People are becoming, no offense, Evan, but people are starting to look a lot more like Evan.
Evan,
just say just say
No, okay,
overweight.
actually, hold on.
I mean,
I have a rebuttal for that. I
People
think,
aren't healthy anymore.
Well,
I think that I think that screen time and people's physical health are related, but I don't think they're as related as a lot of people or as like some people like will put onto that. And I think it's a lot more like a mental health issue. I think the internet and social media is a great thing if you're in a good mental mindset and that you don't make that something that you rely on. People who rely on social media and for their well-being and happiness and for their health really should not have as much access as they do. I think that a lot of people are always like, oh, like so like kids are always on these like on their dang iPads and on their dang phones and it's so unhealthy and everything. And like I think that we'll learn a lot more about that in the long game because again everything's so new. We just have no long term data to rely on. You know what I mean? Um, but then but I think we need to start separating more like health or I think we need to understand the difference and draw the line between like what is just somebody who really enjoys something and what is unhealthy because I think people who spend like 3 to 4 hours a day on screens I don't think that's unhealthy. I mean I spend like I'll be honest probably about 5 6 hours a day on screens and
I spend the majority of my day on a screen.
but at the same time I can hop like if I need to I can hop off and I can go and be a human being and do life.
go touch grass.
And yeah, exactly. I can go touch grass if I need to touch grass. But I don't know. I think the summary of this whole rant is just like, I think it's not as closely like, I think that we need to draw a line between like what's being unhealthy and what's just like the world and technology changing and just generational change
And
in terms of especially for kids.
And even
I,
then,
I,
were you? Go ahead, finish.
I was gonna say something. I just think it's harder for people with addictive personalities like me. I mean, for me, it's just hard to get off the screen, and I have a problem with addiction sometimes.
Give me your phone. Give me your phone.
But that's why they created, like the I know iPhone has it. There's some apps that integrate it to their apps themselves, but there's also things you can get online, apps and you can get like timers and like screen lockers and whatnot that it helps you control how long you stay on your screens for. Like my iPhone, like I can set like a daily screen timer of how long I can be on my screen before it tells me I'm not allowed to use my phone.
Yeah.
Like obviously it'll still let me use like my dial up so I can dial at 911 if I really need to or call my mom. But like it'll stop me from opening Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. It'll do that for me. They're building these apps integrated to their phones and their computers to allow people to not become overweight and like you said as Evan, don't become Evan.
That's really
No,
funny.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're entirely wrong. I'm not saying you're entirely right. What you said, you brought up a good point. There is some sort of a correlation between, up in technology and up in obesity in America, at least from the last 10 to 15 years. But you also got to think about how what companies and tech companies are trying to do to reverse that. Because they're, obviously they want people to maximize their time on their computers and on their phones so they get the most amount of money, but they also don't want everybody to die early so they don't use it as often.
Well, even then, there's a lot of good that can come out of social media to also reverse that. A lot of people want the world to actually be more healthy, so you have a lot of workout channels or people who, in general, who like share their routines every day to make sure that people who follow them, who probably want to live that same lifestyle, have something to base their day off of. A lot of people probably like follow celebrities that have really good physiques, and because of that, a lot of those celebrities who want to make a difference will probably post their routine, their workout routines, what they eat, what they do, what everything besides just being on their phone for the time being. They can do a lot more than just go on Instagram, post a shit post or two, and be on move on with their day.
A really good account I really like to look at is daily push-up advice. Very,
Yeah.
a very great self-help account.
Self-shilling aside, I do actually want to try and better, like, be one of those people who can actually help the people of the world who look up to me, or at the very least, like, acknowledge my existence and show them that I'm doing something with my life. And if that thing is working out every day, even though I've kind of struggled, then so be it. I still try and do it every other day, or at least like once a week now, because again, I've been busy. In order, what do we think? What do we think about the state of these apps in the long run? Discord, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We'll go in that order. I'll go first. For Discord, I think it's pretty much the end all be all for a lot of people who use computers or phones when it comes to actually wanting to just be in the moment and talk to whoever they need to. Communities can come together very easily. I think it's very, very user friendly. And for the most part, it's probably been the most beneficial experience I've had with social media. Twitter, I think, could be better, but again, it helps me keep up with a lot of people that I like to follow on other sites of the internet. I think Twitter is more so like a second step to people who primarily do other things on the side, and Twitter is more so just like an updater. Instagram is good for Instagram probably also serves that same purpose in my opinion. It's just more like a visual nature. I don't like the fact that they're pretty much copying literally every other social media company though, and not just being itself, because that's what made it so popular in the first place. But I still use it a lot. And finally, YouTube. Dear God, please fix your site. Google, please. That's all I ask. Anyways,
True.
Michael.
All right, so we're starting with Discord, right?
Discord, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
Okay, so Discord, in my opinion, is going to last a good while. I don't think it's gonna get overtaken, overshadowed for a while just because of how good it is and how many people use it. It's going in the right direction. Discord Nitro. I got a notification. It turned 5 years old today. That is insane. Just the community around Discord's great. Obviously, everything needs a fix. Discord's not perfect, but it'll last. Next one was what? Twitter. Twitter is like the motherfucking like trench of social media in my opinion. It needs to dig itself back out. It started off okay, but then just went down a rabbit hole. That it just needs a lot of fixing. Granted, there are good parts of it. I won't lie. There are a lot of things I learned from Twitter. A lot of things I wish I never saw on Twitter. But we're all here. Instagram is just it's starting to go to that trend of Twitter, but it's not gonna do that bad. I feel like Twitter can make a rebound before it dies. Instagram is just now. Instagram, in my opinion, is just a whole ass business. It's like Facebook. Facebook bought them out, and they're treating it like Facebook. It turned into a business model that they're using to show off that their business is great. And finally, YouTube. They just need to fix their issues. They have a bunch of algorithm issues. They have ad issues. They have video issues. They have growth issues. They just have a lot of issues. Like I
Plural
said,
issues.
yeah, plural issues. It's not like like I said, not everything's perfect. Everything needs a fix. And YouTube just has than a normal app would, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, Connor.
All right,
it.
So I think Discord is here to stay for now, but it's a very great site and it's really great. But who knows? I thought Kick would last a long time, but you know, Kick. Who the hell uses Kick?
I never used
Uh,
it.
really? Anyways, Twitter. I think Twitter is following the same path as Tumblr. I feel like they're gonna go through the same events Tumblr did, and will eventually. Well, it's not gonna stop being a site or anything. I just think people will stop using it someday. Uh, what was next?
Instagram?
Instagram. I think Instagram will die someday. I just think it's becoming too corporate, I guess, and fit and all that stuff. It's way different than it.
Facebook's fault.
Yeah, definitely. It's way different than it was when we started using Instagram. Like everyone was using Instagram when we were younger, and people still do use it, but they just don't use it as much. Yeah, it's just I don't see my friends posting on Instagram anymore. Compare that to when I was younger, when people were posting at least 5 posts a day. So I think Instagram is dying out, but it's a slow death. And YouTube,
Yeah.
I hope it finally dies, and
Damn.
and a new site comes, like YouTube but better. But they'll probably face similar problems as YouTube.
All right.
YouTubebutbetter.com.
All right, Caleb. So we need you to summarize your closing thoughts on the all the social media platforms in order: Discord, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. As short as you can, please, because this has been going on for way too long.
Yeah, this is like a 2 hour long podcast, but it's okay. Discord, love Discord. Think there needs to be a little bit more moderation though. Um, Next was what? What
Twitter.
did we do next? Instagram, Twitter. Twitter. I hate Twitter. Twitter's a cesspool, and it is extreme. Just it's hot and cold. Either you're moderated to extinction, or just let loose and can do whatever you want. So I hate Twitter. Instagram's good. It's a little bit too corporate right now, but I think that Instagram is doing a lot of good things right now.
Mhm.
YouTube used to be great. It's kind of lost that a little bit. Still has potential to bounce back, I think. But I do think the way it's going 10 to 15 years, it's not going to be a mainstream media
Yeah.
streaming platform.
All
And
right.
those are my remarks.
All right, Evan. All right, so Evan's got nothing to say. All right, I guess.
All right.
What?
Your final remarks.
Me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I said most of the things that I wanted to say during the video, but yeah, Discord good, not the best, could be better. Twitter, it's not great. Twitter could be a lot better. Instagram, it's fine the way it is. It's not awesome, but I don't know if they could be doing anything better. Just keep it like that. I really don't care. Get rid of Reels, maybe. It's pretty stupid. Snapchat, just get rid of that.
Yeah.
Delete it. TikTok, delete it.
TikTok, you just don't like. I think TikTok is great, personally.
I don't like TikTok.
We can
I
have
just
a whole
me
hate
neither.
the
conversation.
people that use TikTok. That's it.
The reason why I love TikTok is because it's like one of the best sites at the moment of allowing essentially anybody to put something out there. Like it really takes like YouTube slogan broadcast yourself to heart. And like literally anybody can create something and have it go viral. And I love that.
Thank you everyone for watching. I guess Professor Carey, please don't.
Bye.
Okay, Jesus. Professor Carey, thank you for listening to this. I really pray that the post editing me does not have a.
You're going to have a painful
I'm going to have a
time.
stroke editing this, but yes. Thank you for listening and have a good night.